What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and we just finished week number 4, game number 1, and it was like the first week. Houston came in and beat the snot out of the Guardians. Yeah, I've got a lot to talk about with this game. This game was all over the place, but yeah, it was exciting. It was fun to watch, and towards the end with about 7 minutes left, it was just kind of like, can we get this game over with? To start off, the production, I really like what they're doing there in Camping World Stadium. It is a nice place for a nice production. The thing that drove me nuts was early on, they had the all access mics just way too loud. But a few minutes into the game, they had that all fixed. It was fine after that. Listen, this game started out electric. It was awesome. The Roughnecks came out firing, marched the ball down the field, do what they do, and scored right away. On the very next possession, boom, what happens? Lynch throws a backwards pass, they don't catch it, and likely just seems to always be in the right place at the right time, and likely picked up that ball, ran it in for the touchdown, and before you know it, this thing is 14-0, ends up being 20-0 after another score. Whew, they just jumped out, and that was it. It was over pretty much after that, and they just ran with it. And it was kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, you really can't teach an old dog new tricks. This Guardian team went right back to the Guardians team we saw for the first couple weeks. Buck, man, he was back in rare form again, and I don't know. I feel kind of bad for him because everything's falling apart around him. I don't know. Did they have like a million penalties in this game? I mean, everything they could do, they did literally wrong. Roughing the passer, holding, and in the worst places possible. Pass interference, false starts. It was just, penalty-wise, it was a little bit of a mess, and sometimes it was almost too much in this game. What can you say? Those teams that are good find ways to win, and the Houston Roughnecks just find ways to beat the snot out of the other team. I don't know. This Houston team just seems to get better and better each week, and they just know what they're doing. Good night, Kirkland throwing that touchdown. It's the first quarter, but the pretty much, the nails in the coffin, they're done, and that was it. Yeah, they had some big plays from the Guardians, but really, that was really about it. They got within 10 points at one time. It was because of a couple of big plays, and really it was, the one was a really good throw by Lynch, and the other one was just a player got knocked down, and that's what you kind of get. And this Roughnecks team, they figured out different ways to win. They've adjusted, and even adjusting in the middle of a half, it's just insane what they're doing and the way that they're playing. They had 4 sacks again in this game. It's just crazy to look at it. Looking at the Guardians here, 18 for 30, Paxton Lynch was, with 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He had some really bad throws, though. And the reality of it is with this guy, that's the thing. About 60% of the time, he does well with his throws. The problem is when you need him to step up, he doesn't step up. And the time that he's like on the verge of getting pulled, like he pulls like that nice touchdown pass that he threw to number 39 out of his rear end and comes back in. DeAndre Francois let him down the field a little bit. I was kind of surprised that they didn't give him a shot the rest of the game. I don't know what that was about. I kind of was with Buck on this one. I'm kind of like, why do we not, try out this guy? So I don't know why this isn't updating on here with the website, with the players, but let's see if we can maybe get this thing to refresh for us here. I don't know, trying some different things here. All right, now we're back up with it. So no more Taylor. Looking at it, yeah, they went with Darrington this game, and actually Darrington did really well. Martin played well, didn't fumble the ball, so that's all right. But they were playing from behind, so they weren't worried about running the ball tonight. I mean, running the ball was just to kind of, change things up for them. I mean, really, it was just throwing the ball with Lynch, and that just isn't going to get them anywhere for the future. I think that they really need to look at like Francois or someone else, because I just, not that I have anything against Lynch. I like him, his moxie and where he's at with it. They just need something to just spark this team. And they've got the running backs, the receivers. I mean, when you look at this, Latimer, Lenore, Rambo, Rogers. Now, granted, some of these guys had some drops, but part of it too is that when you're throwing at guys' knees and you're throwing above their head because of bad footwork, and they talked about that the whole game, his bad footwork. I mean, there's a reason why Paxton Lynch is still working his way up, and you saw that in this game. And I don't know, I'm ready to move on from him, but the whole team might be ready to move on, from the whole coaching staff with it. I felt bad for for the fans in Orlando. They got a terrible showing from their team. You can tell they want to cheer this team on. Now, granted, there's not that many people in the stadium. It'll be interesting to see because they look so small just on that one side, but they cause a ruckus there. And if they could ever get a team to give them something, that would be pretty cool. But yeah, this is another tough one. And again, Paxton Lynch with the fumble, that's going to be the backwards pass. Rambo had the one as well. But yeah, just kind of I was starting to rethink things with this team, and now I'm kind of backtracking with it. I mean, this loss was worse than their loss that they had in the in week number 1. Let's go ahead and let's look at some stuff here, what we got with the Roughnecks. I mean, just looking good. Brandon Silvers, week in and week out, has proven me wrong. But he's actually starting to make a believer out of me. I know a guy who every league that he's been in, I've kind of poo-pooed him and not really been a fan, and maybe he's found his calling, and it's just to run this Mike Leach offense, because he does it really well and does a good job with it. 24 for 30 for 239 yards, 3 touchdowns, no INTs. He was sacked a couple times, and that Guardians defense has, I think that they're not that bad. They just need to figure some things out on offense. Rushing the ball, you could definitely tell that they missed Borgie, but once they got up and they turned the tables, man, Smith, that man unfortunately, he will not be with this team next year. He's going to have a job in the NFL. He's going to be doing, something there. I mean, he is just a young, bright mind and knows what he's doing there. But Lee did a fantastic job coming in and filling in for Borgie. They didn't really pass to begin with, but they didn't need to, and they did exactly what they needed to do. Hopefully, Seattle will learn from this, because they run a similar style of offense. When you get up, run the ball, eat clock. Like Smith's like, hold it till 10, you're fine, hold it till 10. I love that. Love what's going on there. Maybe they need more guys with the name Harris on this team, because on defense you've got Harris intercepting the ball, you got Harris going in, sacking the quarterback, you got Harris catching touchdown passes. He had 2 tonight, which was crazy. He had the one from obviously Kirkland. Kirkland is just showing out, and Kirkland's another guy that I think could end up in the NFL next year. He keeps playing like he is. Burnett Burnett is the sneaky one that doesn't get talked about a lot as the other ones, even though I don't know, they're all getting talked about. Bird was the go-to guy and see, they use those little bubble passes, those little wide receiver screens, those little hitches, those are run plays for them. So when you're looking at this, it looks like Bird had 7 catches. It was almost like Bird had like 5 runs out of 7 catches. So, you have those type of things. Nick Holly is going to be another guy that's going to do that for them. They didn't miss Borgie, and I was kind of surprised. I thought that they would miss him tonight, but they didn't. Defense, sorry guys, I have I apologize. I'm not really keeping the stats up, and this is me trying to control things and more than just talk to the camera. I'm trying to multitask, and I apologize. But yeah, all in all, really great. This defense, these guys just keep coming. Yeah, there's not much more I could say about this team. This team is played well together. They're coached well. You can tell that they're disciplined. They come after the ball. They know who they are. They know their place. They know what they need to do, and they come out and they go. And they flow through the game, which is pretty awesome. As the game goes, so do they. And what the other team gives them, they take, and they adjust to it, and they've done it flawlessly. Well, not flawlessly, but as flawlessly as you could. And they move to a nice 4-0, and it'll be interesting to see if any team can knock them off of their pedestal, because the way they're going right now, they're just smoothing on down through. So let's go ahead. Let's now watch the second game, and then we'll get into our reactions on that one as well. Well, finishing up that game, man, DiNucci should thank his defense, because they shut down pretty much everything the Brahmas brought to them, and it was just like chance after chance after chance. And when you just thought that Seattle got the ball back, they're going to go ahead, they're going to run this clock out, DiNucci does what DiNucci does best and throw a pick. He can't help himself. He has to throw a pick in the game. This game was a low-scoring game. It was a crazy game. I was kind of surprised by it. I don't know what it is with this Dragons team. They're really, really interesting to me. So all in all, they had 343 yards, and they only scored 15 points. For some reason, this team has a really, really difficult time of scoring. I don't know why. Hopefully, they'll kind of start to figure some of this out with it, but I digress. Let's go ahead and let's start from the beginning. This was a slugfest from the get-go, and it kind of makes sense. That's kind of how the Brahmas have played, and they continue to play with that. The things that they needed to do in this game, they weren't able to do. And really, it was Seattle's defense that really stepped up in this game and really took it to them. You got Jack Cohn was sacked 4 times in this game. Like I said, Seattle's defense, they showed up and showed out in this. And listen, I don't want to take anything away from Cohn. Cohn is he's a decent quarterback. Their running game is dismal. I mean, listen to these stats here, and we'll go ahead and start working down through this. Jack Cohn, 2 carries, 9 yards, 4.5 yards. Patrick, 2 carries, 5 yards. Balaj, 5 carries, 5 yards. Hillman, 1 carry, 2 yards. And Robertson, 1 carry, no yards. This game, it was a really interesting game because it was kind of fun to watch, because Seattle's fun to watch their offense go up and down the field. But really, the offense on the other side really didn't have a whole lot. And actually, they got their longest play of the year, which was a 30-yard pass. It was because a guy caught the ball, nobody touched him, and the defensive back forgot about it, and he got it back up and started running down the field. That's how they got their longest play of the season. They need to figure this out. And yes, I know they were missing their number one, deep threat guy. What was it, Vaughn's today? So, no, sorry, Vasher. And I get that, but they've got to figure something out with this offense. I think that the defense actually isn't terrible. You're going up against the best offense in the XFL. And DiNucci is a really, really good quarterback. The problem with DiNucci is he can't get out of his own way with throwing interceptions. With the Brahmas, looking at the defense, and number one, Luke Baraku, Yeah, he had a decent game, and it'll be interesting to see, when they actually go further with things. I really do feel like this is a guy who might get another opportunity. He is. You can definitely tell that he's got talent, and that he can be something special with this. I like the way that oh Heinz Ward's been coaching. I think he's done a fantastic job with this team. It just hasn't been translating into, into wins and points for them, and it might come with it. They just, I mean, the running game is just absolutely dismal. They have to figure out something with that and translate that into with the passing game with something like that. Turning to the Dragons, I'm kind of a little disappointed. And, at first I was kind of like, this is kind of good. But when DiNucci threw that pick, I was like, oh no, here we go again. And then I was just like, I don't know. I just felt like they were going to win regardless, and it really didn't matter. And it felt like, as the game progressed, it felt like the Dragons more and more were going to take on this game and win this game. The thing that frustrates me probably the most with the Dragons here is the fact that, you have the Battlehawks and you have the Defenders that are in your division, and these two teams are going to take advantage of your mistakes. So when when he's creating turnovers, when he's doing that, the Defenders and the Battlehawks are going to take advantage of that as the season progresses. And that's going to be their downfall if they don't figure this out. The other thing is punching the ball in the end zone. Now, I will say that I really have been liking the way they've been doing this with Ellison. He got 16 carries for 69 yards and 4.3 yards a carry. I did like that they punched the ball in the end zone. One of the things that was good for me was in the short yardage, guess who did not go under center? Ben DiNucci. I thought that was fantastic. To start off, I think that, the one short yardage play that they ran and they got stuff, don't kind of telegraph it so much. Get a little bit more creative with it sometimes, or at least put yourself in a position like they did when he punched it in and do that. The other thing with Ellison is just keep running over guys, man. When he had that thing to run it in for the 1-point conversion, he should have just ran the guy over. He would have been fine instead of trying to, do the spin move. The spin move is what got him tackled. This receiving core, man, these guys are just good. Pearson, Gordon, I mean, what can you say? These guys show up and shine when they need to. Jackson kind of showed up in this game. VZ had that really nice catch that they tried to take away from him there. Yeah, as you can tell, it felt like this game as it went on, they were trying to more and more take things away from the Dragons, with the offensive passive interference, which really changed the trajectory of the end of the half, and where it could have been, Seattle could have been up by somewhere, it was really a 9-point swing. So it went from a 6 to 6 at half, which, could have been, it would have been like a 12-3 at the half had they have continued on with that drive and scored. So it was a big deal there. But yeah, just really liking what these guys are doing, and they've got stars on this team. So, I pretty excited about that. The defense, man, the guys were all over the field. You got, like I said, you had 4 sacks. You had Skipper with 2 sacks. Sharif Miller was coming on. Guys, you gotta stay home. You gotta stay home with the penalties and things like that. I mean, this is nowhere near the Guardians or anything like that, but they have to play this Dragons team has to play more disciplined and, just smarter ball. And I think that this could take this team back into that championship realm. They are back in the hunt with things. They are back at 500. They're only 1 game behind right now. And depending upon what happens tomorrow, they could be, literally sitting there right in the playoff hunt. So, they're on the cusp of some things here, and really it's just a lot of the mental stuff that they've got to figure out, and DiNucci's got to quit with the with the turnovers. The reality of it is if he doesn't throw that stupid pass, they get away without any turnovers in the game, which is huge. They could have gotten away with that, but he didn't. And that's really kind of the story of this team for this season, is missed opportunities because, not because of the other team, but because of what you're doing to yourself. So, that's kind of where it is with it. It was just kind of a weird game. They got the Dragons got a lot of offense. The Brahmas didn't really get a whole lot of offense. And, the Dragons defense, made up for the shortcomings of the offense not being able to score points and punch the ball into the end zone. And, that's what you kind of get here. I think it's good that the Dragons have figured out how to win. That's always good. You got to take and celebrate a win. But I think they need to go back to the drawing board tomorrow and realize the things that they messed up and that they missed and go forward from there. But listen, this Dragons team's got a lot of upside. I think Ellison is a bright point that they need to continue to feed that, and then just keep getting the ball to the stars, wide receiver. And as long as DiNucci can kind of rein some of the things back, I think that this is going to be a great team. This Brahma team, like I've said before, and I'm kind of going to say it again. They need to figure out the run game. I think they figure out the run game, I think that they'll do well, and I think that that's also predicated by, I know, like I said, guys like Vasher and things like that are out, but you've got to figure out how to go down the field and do that. So they've got some things to work out, but if they can work that out, I think that they'll end up being a decent team. I think 5 wins is still on the table for this team. So those are my thoughts. It was a late night. I don't really like the 10 o'clock game. Thankfully, it was on a Saturday night. But yeah, I'm tired and I'm ready to get to bed. So as always, let me know what you think down in the comment section. We'll continue the conversation on down there. All right, listen, guys, I know that you're busy and I know that I'm busy. So let's get on out of here. You have a good night. Bye.